Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me. It's me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is Legit Fantasy Football, brought to you by legitpodcast.com, aka RIpodcast.com. It is Thursday night, 12/16/21. That's 12162021 for you math geeks. Not that that means anything to me, but joining me always, Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how are we?
We're ready to roll, King. We're on a roll. We're ready to keep it going. All I'm seeing right now is greenbacks. I want greenbacks for all my friends.
I agree. Speaking of making money, Matt, Mastradamus, and one Mr. Never Left. How are you tonight?
How am I? I don't even want to talk to you guys right now. I hate your stupid little grin on your face, Brother Ray. And I got one thing to say to you, brother. You think you want to mess up my record, which I think you may. I don't like you even a little bit. So don't walk away sad, or don't, what do they say? Don't walk away mad, just walk away. Just walk away. You don't want me, I beat you once. You don't want me to beat you again, which I don't think I'm going to do anyway. But why you want to go and make me hurt, Brother Ray? Why?
Ray, it almost sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, but not quite. Like, you built too low, son. I keep pitching them. You keep missing them.
Must have a hole in your glove.
Must have a hole in your glove.
It's good to see y'all. It's good to see y'all. I'm glad you're smiling because you got like every single spread right last week, and I hate you for that too.
Yeah, let's be honest. Brother Ray did drop a bomb last week. What did you do? 12-0?
12-0 on Sunday, 12-2 for the week. Pretty good.
Jeez, Louise, right? What a day. What a day.
About to roll me over. Hey, place over.
The genius is so smart that he showed up and then left. All right.
Well, I wouldn't want to hang around with you guys either. I'm out.
All right. So what I'm going to do is, because it's this week, and I know we were talking about changing the format, I'm, however, going to stick to last week's format. We're going to review some games, and then we'll make our way after that. First, however, is there anyone that would like to bring up a football topic that we need to be discussing? Brother Ray?
Two things.
All right,
First of all, we've been talking this whole damn show all year long about how Urban Meyer is not a coach. Thank God he is fired. One. And two, thank God the NFL finally did something about these COVID players. Today they came out, and now they're gonna move on. If you're asymptomatic and you come up with a negative rapid test or whatever, you're playing. That's the way it should be. You know, these guys are around each other all the time. They're not having any illnesses, but they're coming up positive. Let them play. Odell Beckham played on Sunday night or Monday night and then tested positive the next day. Come on.
Joining us is Genius Kev. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late here. Having problems with the Wi-Fi. Seems like as soon as the shows are ready to kick off, the Wi-Fi goes down. So my apologies there, but let's hope we get a good show in here and we make some money.
Probably King Michael doesn't want to see your face because you're the hottest team in the league.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Urban Meyer story, I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't think I've ever been fired at 12:10 in the morning, but he was fired at 12:10 last night, which is fitting because he was probably at a bar hitting on some 22-year-old, but hey, you know what? We knew it was coming. The Josh Lambo story, I mean, really kicked it into action, so to speak. So, hey, I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later. Khan did the right thing. And you know what? Bevel is an interesting interim coach going forward. They could be sneaky and upset some teams and definitely ruin your betting day coming up because he's a decent coach.
Kevin, you have a new story you'd like to discuss.
No, I'd like to just continue on with the Urban Meyer stuff because like that Lambo thing happened in August, and he got reported to he reported it to the team. The team's lawyers knew about it, and then he went public with it like yesterday. And you just have to imagine the amount of animosity towards Urban Meyer, for everyone to turn on him completely. Like there's nobody left that was like, I'll keep give him another couple of weeks. He's just learning the ropes. Like the guy, when you just berate everyone the entire time, you're not going to get any support. And it was just so obvious when it all fell apart. You got to wonder though, of like Shad Khan's decision making ability. What do you give him, like a 10-year deal, something insane like that? And hopefully the Lambeau thing gets him. They can say it was fired with cause, or else he's going to pay him the whole thing, which is absolute insanity. So that'll probably leak out in the next few days how it all got settled. But I'm glad he had the balls to kind of cut bait so quickly. But it just shows how right we were from day one of that hire. We were completely all over it.
I want to say that I was the one that claimed that they would go first. You know what I mean? Remember I said he'd go first, Urban Meyer? Well, I predicted he'd be the first. That's the only thing that I can. Not that I'm happy that a guy lost his job. I'm just saying I saw this one coming first. It had to happen. You know what I mean? Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. If the Gruden thing didn't happen, he would have. But you know what I didn't know, and I think it's a rule change this year, that if you have a vacancy, you can start talking to prospective coaches in the last 2 weeks of the season. So you might see more heads roll around a week or two from now, around weeks 17 and 18, right, Matt? Like you might see some of the guys on the bubble, like they end up getting fired just so the Bears can get a couple of week head start on the search.
Well, here's what I want to bring to the table. One, Joe Judge is not going to get fired. Joe Judge apparently told ownership when he started that it was going to be like a 4-year or something like that turnaround. And he also never wanted Jason Garrett and that type of offense, and Jason Garrett's the coaches that came along with him. Apparently, it's true. If you look back, Jason Garrett was hired by Mara, not by Joe Judge. I think he might have been in place almost either a little bit before Joe Judge or right at the same time. So Joe Judge never liked Jason Garrett. You know what? And for that, I like Joe Judge. Like, I wouldn't like Jason Garrett either. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't like him. I really wouldn't. But he expect everybody, get him in to retire. He will not be fired. He will be given the chance to retire. That's all going to happen, right? And hopefully the Giants clear deck. Now, the only one that I could see the Giants replacing Judge with would be Patrick Graham. They love him in the organization. He's going to get a job next year, I think, as a head coach somewhere. That's the only guy that right now they would replace him with. I don't think they will, but that's to look out for. Now, my favorite story is Frank Gore. Frank Gore said he had at least 3 teams contact him about playing this year, and he turned them down. He's 38 years old, and he's got a 4-round fight coming up, boxing match against NBA star Deron Williams, who was the guy that when I was in New York City staying at the Omni, I guess it was, it ended up me and Dave were waiting for like a cab, and we were standing outside the hotel, and it literally was just me, Dave, and Deron Williams, because the NBA draft was like the next day, and they were all there at that hotel, and he's taller than I thought. But anyways, Frank Gore is going to fight this guy. He won't mention retirement because, he says he's still got some gas in the tank. What do we make of Frank Gore? Ray, let me ask you this. Is Frank Gore human? Let's start there.
Who would ever want to fight Frank Gore?
Oh,
like if you hit Frank Gore in the face, your hand would break.
Yeah.
It's Deron Williams too. Like, no offense, Deron, you've never really seen as that tough of a basketball player. So you got Frank Gore, Mr. Immortal, coming at you.
Are there going to be odds on that fight? Because my God, I mean, I got to jump all over that. Put the house on Gore.
Why are they fighting? Like, I would like, is there animosity between them? Is it all just a publicity stunt? Like, because I would assume Deron Williams has like a monster reach advantage, right?
Undercard, right? Isn't it undercard for the who's the YouTuber?
Jake, the blonde kid, one of the blonde kids.
I think
he's fighting that guy, Tyrod. He's fighting Tyrod again, which no one wants to see. But Matt, I was thinking we should start like a special show that when they do these boxing matches, we should call the fight without showing the fight itself. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, talk along with it.
Yep.
Because one, I think we would know what we're seeing, and 2, we could really make fun of them. that's fun to me. That spells fun. So, Kev, I'm going to stick. Again,
I don't. Sorry about that, King. I don't think reach advantage is gonna matter in this one. I think that it's gonna be Frank Gore coming at
bull
him.
rushing. Bull rushing. Yep.
If he's saying I'm not retiring and he's got it left in the tank, I'm not gonna dispute it. That kid he's been forever youthful, young. It's funny. There's what King was saying. I got all the cards in the deck. I'll throw them in the fire. Like I don't. It's funny because I really believe Frank Gore could probably be a starter on multiple teams running the ball right now and be very effective. But fighting, like Brother Ray said, you ain't hurting Frank Gore, and
Oh no.
I can only imagine that he's gonna. We'll see what he's got for punching power, but I guarantee you, you're just not hurting him.
If you're the Giants, you could use Frank Gore, right?
Yeah.
He runs up the middle.
Dolphins, Giants, you can go right down the list.
Crazy. Yeah. All right. So, Kev, like I was saying earlier, we will change the format of the Thursday night shows, just not tonight. We're going to stick to what we usually do. We're going to just go through the games a little faster, recap them, and then that way we can discuss any fantasy gems we see in a game of those two teams or anything like that you want to speak of. So let's begin. Quickly, the Thursday game was the Vikings over the Steelers at home, 36-28. This kind of went as it should have, I thought. Dalvin Cook, however, had 27 rushes for 205 and 2 TDs. Brother Ray, how's Dalvin Cook look for the playoffs starting this week?
I mean, he was injured last week, folks. He had a bum shoulder, and really, and you know, M1 was right to think that Madison would get the majority of the snaps. But I mean, that and it goes to show you when you have your stud in the lineup, even if he's got one good shoulder, someone like him you have to start. I mean, yeah, I mean, he is going to be a force in the fantasy playoffs. Just if he's on the field, he's money. Like you know, and as far as the game, I had Pittsburgh in that game, so I was totally wrong on that. And I think M1, I think you're the only one that had the Vikes, so you definitely have the call.
Me and him. Yeah. I was with the Vikings.
You went with the Steelers.
The Vikings.
I was all alone
sure?
with the Vikings.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
I think I went with the Vikings.
Nope, I was the only
only thing
one.
you have to watch out for is the
I thought M1
every last one of you guys, you had the under also. I went with the Vikings.
No, I'll be looking. I'll keep looking. All right. Anybody else want to touch on this game, or can we move to the next one?
Let's move on.
All right, moving on. Next game then. Kev, the next game would be the Cowboys actually beat the Washington football team 27-20. This was a surprise to me. It showed that the Cowboys are better than advertised. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. And just a full disclosure, I know I had the football team, M1 had the football team, and if they didn't miss that extra point, they would have covered. It was 6.5, and they lost by 7. And I think they missed an extra point on the last touchdown. So that was kind of a very tough break, unless you got the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is playing really well. You can't, they're like the third best defense in the last like 6 weeks by some metrics, which is awesome. And the football team's defense has really come on too. So two stronger teams that are stronger than I anticipated. Dak pulled a Dak move when Cowboys were up 27-13, had the game in hand, threw a terrible pick 6 in the fourth quarter. Absolutely awful. I thought that was going to seal their fate. Like I thought it would give Washington all the momentum, but they held on. I think they're in serious. I think they have a big problem with Tony Pollard now. He's got plantar, what is it? Fasciitis, however you pronounce that, and that doesn't heal in season. So Zeke is a little too slow, and without Pollard, their backfield is gonna be a little bit less burst than I would like. But I think they're gonna win the NFC East. I think they're gonna get a home playoff game, and I can see them getting to the second round.
Thanks, Kev. I found my Sunday, but they do not include the Thursday game. So Matt, the jury is still out on that. I will let you know after I watch the show back. The next game. Well, all right. First of all, Matt, did you see anything in this game that surprised you or shocked you between the Cowboys?
Absolutely. Kevin wants to talk about how the Cowboys defense is good, and they are. But they let the inboxes back in, and Kyle Allen, like he's not getting first team reps. He's not even throwing the ball around to those guys, and he came back. He looked great. He's always been serviceable. Heineken couldn't get it done. Allen comes in. Looks sharp. That's what I really liked about Kyle Allen. I think that is possible for him to keep on going on with that team. Why not?
Yeah, and then the other thing is Rivera loves Kyle Allen. Like he came with him from Carolina. He's been looking for a reason to get him on the field, and this could be it.
Yeah. Another thing, too, guys. Do you remember a game when a team's starting to left and right tackle both get suspended in the same game? I have never seen that before. Like when your two starting tackles get suspended in the game for fighting, and you still win the game. Like that was amazing to me.
Yes, but if you go back and watch, if that tackle didn't get suspended, I would be furious with them because they were sticking up for Dak, and he got hit maybe late, maybe not. But then it started getting chippy between that linebacker and somebody else. And the right tackle just came over and blasted him. I have no problem with that in the NFL. I don't know if you guys do, but if somebody hits your quarterback and it's
you have to.
late, if you're going to get kicked out of the game, so be it. But you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
If you ever want to see a team that's falling apart, watch a team where a quarterback gets sacked and all the offensive linemen stand around and watch. You know that team is done. They're never no matter what their record is, no matter what else is going on, it's over. It's just a matter of time until it catches up with them. And I saw that in some of the college bowls, the college championships, and I was texting Stu about it because if you're not going to protect your quarterback, then who are you going to protect as an offensive line? Crazy.
It's game warfare. It's colors, and it's your team against their team, and that's your crew. And it's the same thing as somebody insulting your wife. When you go at their king, you have to protect the king. That's it. He's the leader of your franchise. What, you think that's a little extreme?
No. But I was going to give you one of those, but yeah.
That's delayed whistle.
Yeah, very late whistle. Yeah. Wait a minute. There's a flag on the field. What?
All right. So, Matty, the Jaguars went to Tennessee and got beat 20-0. This is the only game that I was close on this week, I think, because I said that I could see this being like, what did I say? Like 11-0? Or was it even on this show that I said it to somebody? I don't even remember. I just remembered I predicted a very low-scoring, ugly game because it just didn't seem like it was going to be a good-looking game. And that's what it came out to, 20-0. Matt, what did you think of the game? And you think they play better next week without Urban Meyer?
Absolutely. I think that this is a decent team, and I think that we've seen in spurts, like when they upset the Bills, that they've got potential there. I've always liked a lot of the names on the defensive side of the ball. I'm kind of surprised they traded C.J. Henderson. But the best thing about that whole game was Urban Meyer's face when he walked into the middle of the field. He looked like a sad little boy who lost his puppy. And Mike Vrabel just walked up and was like, hey, gave him a little quick. It was almost disrespectful handshake and trotted on out. And it almost like you could tell Urban Meyer was fired even before that whistle blew. And but I do think that the Jaguars come together and they look a lot better. I think they, like Kevin said, there was a lot of animosity in that locker room and they didn't want to play for him anymore.
Yeah, I think that was it this week, was really the sum of all that. And if Bevel wants to get keep that job or get a head coaching job elsewhere, if he can somehow show strong improvement in Lawrence, his stock will go through the freaking roof because Lawrence threw 4 picks in that game. Didn't even look like they were trying. And if somehow Bevel can turn his season around, he'll be the next genius quarterback whisperer, and he'll be able to write his own ticket. So I would keep an eye on Lawrence for the next few games.
There was one thing I want to talk. I saw a play where both receivers were doing comeback curls, right in the same, and they actually ran into each other when they dropped. Jeez. That's the offense that Urban Meyer is putting out there. You don't draw coverage to where the ball's going. And you don't have 2 receivers in the same vicinity. That is what Urban Meyer was doing with this team.
Yep.
AKA Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, jeez Christ. Raymond, Seahawks went to to Houston, and the Seahawks lumped them up 33-13. Tell me, Ray, does this game matter at all?
No, but it was indicative of Sunday. I think if you look at Sunday, all the big chalks won, and they won easily. I think if you were favored 7 or more, you won easily on Sunday. So Vegas took a beating on Sunday because all the big chalks cashed in, and this was one of them. I don't think it was ever in doubt. We knew Mills was going to get the start. He played well, actually. He played pretty well against the Seahawks. Was able to, I think he threw for over 200-something yards. Had a decent day. But again, these are the Texans here. They really had no rushing attack to speak of. And give the Seahawks credit. They were able to go in there. Rashad Penny completely woke up and was dominant. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we were surprised, but this was the case for many of these games. The big chalks just laid it on them.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? Because that game was kind of
No.
is what it is. All right,
Brother is right. The books took a killing this weekend. One of the worst, probably the worst week of the season. So look for an overreaction on the dogs this week.
I can see that.
Stop.
Kev, I'm going to go to you again with this one, though. I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home, just blowing out the Raiders 48-9. And did you see at the beginning of the game how the Raiders all came out and did like their team like hype up session right on the logo in the middle of the field?
What? When are teams going to stop doing that stuff? If I were a coach, like I would just say, you're not doing anything like that. Like, why would you give anybody any motivation? Like, you remember Juju was doing that all last season. He was doing this stupid Irish step dancing on the team's logos. And then I forgot who they were playing, and he got blown up. He caught a pass, got blown up. And he popped the ball up in the air, and they picked it off. I think it was against the Bengals. And it was just like, dude, stop it. Stop it. He's like, I'm being me. That's how I am. Just shut up. Like, just play the freaking game. And like Kansas City's like a well, they're awoken now, but for a while they were like a sleeping giant. They laid 48 on them. I had the Raiders in that game. Every time I looked back on the Yahoo real-time score update, it was score, touchdown, Kansas City. They had 28, I think, in the first quarter. Like, the Kansas City is back. I would say AFC is going to go to either them or New England. Their defense is playing unbelievably well. They've had 3 games in a row, not giving up 13 points. So 13 points or lower the last 3 games in a row. Offense obviously can still do it as long as they're patient. And I think the Raiders missed Gruden as an offensive game planner more than we probably thought.
I think that's well said. Ray, actually, Matt. This is a good one. The Saints went into New York or New Jersey, depending on how you see it, and lumped up the Jets 30-9. What does this game tell us, if it tells us anything at all, Matt?
That the Jets have a lot of problems.
I agree with that.
I see the Saints as, Sean Payton's a great coach. He doesn't have really much to work with.
They need a QB.
They need a QB big time. But they can still do a lot with a little. And I do believe that Russell Wilson said that one of his destinations would be the Saints. And I could see why. I think that they would bring him to life. And I think any good quarterback would be very good in that system. And I do think Tom Brady retires at the end of this year, so that division would be totally open.
Yeah. Tom Brady got into one too many skirmishes on 4th and 1 or whatever it was called. Every time he sneaked, everybody on the field fought.
Wait a minute, M1, you think Brady's going to retire after this season? Really? Wow. I'll bet the don't on that. Wow.
I'll bet you $5.
Done.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'm going to throw this to Brother Ray.
Sorry, can I ask these two guys a question?
Go ahead.
Zach Wilson. What, if he were is his problem just that he doesn't have the talent? Is it that the team doesn't have the right system for him? Is it that the offensive line is terrible? Like what do you guys think about Zach Wilson this far through his first season? Like, is he redeemable, or is he, because he's drafted by the Jets, his life is over?
That's it. You just said it. Wow. You did all that talking and asked these two guys a question, and then you gave them the answer at the very end. You don't do it like that, Kev. Of course you said you get drafted by the Jets. But, Ray, go ahead. Your answer.
Yeah. You remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? You remember? That's his future right now. I mean, that's what he's playing with right now. Bad head coach, bad offensive coordinator. The line isn't that bad, but no weapons right now at all to speak of. He's just in a bad spot. He was hurt. You name it, it's all against him. I think he's got talent, but you're not going to see it this year, and you may not see it next year because they're going to give this coach another year. Again, when you hire Adam Gase, I told Stu, I said, for the next 4 years, you're toast. No. For the next 4 years, you're toast. And it's the same case with this guy.
Yep. All
and
right.
when you were here. Yeah.
I feel like if you put Mac Jones down in Jacksonville, or if you put him in New York, you're gonna get the same thing that you're seeing. I think Mac might be a little bit better in the Jet system than you see Wilson. I think Wilson pushes the ball downfield too much, doesn't really take what the defense gives him, and I think he's trying too hard. But really, what can you do? You got to kind of be the focal point of the offense when they're expected to be. So I just think he's in a bad organization, like you guys have pointed out. And there's no – hey, when you're down so low, you can only go up.
Hey, Kev. Kev, I'll answer the question for you. First of all, he's a rookie quarterback that's been forced to start a season for the Jets. Literally just thrown out there. Hey, you're the quarterback for the Jets. He's gotten injured and keeps coming back. The kid is definitely tough. He's fighting through injuries. But if you come back at like 80%, 75%, like you're still playing for the Jets. So it doesn't make sense to rush yourself back because why get killed by the Jets? Now, their offensive line should be better than it is. That's where I stand with it. They've got some solid pieces there. They're probably going to get one more in the draft next year, and then they're going to be a good offensive line. I just think we've got horrible coordinators. The kid doesn't really know what's going on. Like I don't blame that kid for this year. I chalk it up as a rookie season. We'll see how he does next year with a full training camp under a real coach, right?
And don't be surprised if at the end of the year he gets one of those teardrop tattoos that all the prisoners get. I see that in his future.
He's doing a bid.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so let's move on to the two teams that are to me really hard to predict, even though I got this one right, but still, Falcons over the Panthers, 29-21. Ray?
Yeah, it's one of my locks. I love this game. I love the Falcons. I love the money line. I love the spread. You just knew that Carolina was basically a burning dumpster rolling into that game. And there's no other way to describe it. I mean, their offensive line was in shambles. They decided they wanted to run the ball with a backup rookie running back. Their quarterback position was up in the air. They're cycling in like different players. Cam's in, Walker's in. It was just ripe. And even a team as bad as Atlanta, they have a better coaching staff than Carolina right now. Let's be honest. This is what I expected it to be.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. Kev, you're going to get the Browns beating the Ravens at home in a game that we all said was going to be exactly like this, whether we picked the winner or loser. 24-22. What did you think, Kev?
I thought it was like a battle of attrition. Like, these are teams that they're just getting put through like the meat grinder as the season goes on. Baltimore keeps losing pieces every single week. They just keep having less and less talent on both sides of the ball. The Browns deal with Baker's shoulder. They don't have an explosive offense. Like, they were up 24-6 at the half, and they didn't score again in the second half. They almost let the Ravens all the way back. Actually, they did let them all the way back. They won 24-22. But I think the Ravens have real questions with Lamar Jackson. Like, what are they going to do with him? Are they going to what kind of contract are they going to offer this guy? Like, is he going to be a $40 million player? I think that's personally the wrong move, but I don't think he'll take less. And I don't think I think you could find the team that will pay him that. But he he's exploitable. Like we all know now, you zero blitz and he can't make decisions fast enough. He can't throw outside the numbers very well. So they had a lot of problems. And I think Cleveland's just too beat up to be relevant in the playoffs. So game kind of, like I said, went like we thought it would, just a battle of attrition, and Cleveland held on.
You know what's wrong with Baker? I'll tell you what's wrong with Baker. Baker's so used to looking for certain receivers because he has to, that he hasn't progressed and learned how to just hit the open guy, the first open read he gets. And I'm being serious with that. Like, I think he's looking for people on purpose, or he got accustomed to doing that, and that messes with the whole thought decision, right?
Yeah, I think, you know what I don't like about Baker, and I compare him with Drew Brees. Drew Brees was not a tall quarterback. He's around 6 feet. They're around the same size. But Drew Brees had the ability to step up in the pocket and get that lane so he could see what he was doing over the trees. Baker does not do that very well. And I feel like that affects him, that he does not find, and that's a reason why he doesn't find the open guy. He doesn't have that ability to step up or find that lane that someone like a Drew Brees could do. And Drew Brees obviously is a first ballot Hall of Famer, so it's not fair. But Baker's got to do that at that size, at 6 feet and a quarter inch.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because he's got to like shift around in the pocket and find lanes instead of just looking over everything, because he can't. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
All right, so before I go to Matt with the Chargers-Giants game, I want to throw this one out. Vincent Jackson, the late wide receiver for the Chargers, who died earlier this year, he donated his brain to whatever science, the brain bank it's called. He was found to have stage 2 chronic traumatic, encephalopathy, which is pretty much CTE. So I'm going to ask this because we've never really asked this. This whole CTE thing, it's got to be much worse than they're ever going to let us know. Would anybody agree? Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, completely.
Do you think any lineman will not have some form of it after retirement if you've played more than, like, say, 4 years?
Well, I think if you get very lucky, but you got to remember, it's all the hits from Pee Wee football on up, especially when you're growing and your brain is still mature, you're still growing and everything. Like, I remember just playing high school football. I got probably 2 concussions, and you didn't even know what they were, because not every you just spin yourself around, they put you back in the huddle, and you play the next play. And they did that right up until a few years ago. And then now they have all this like very, very precise equipment. You can measure like almost concussions in practice and all that stuff. But like linemen crack heads on every single play. And it doesn't just take one big hit. It's all the little ones accumulate. So I think you're right. You're like, unless you get very lucky, most of these guys are going to have some form or another. And it's heartbreaking when you hear the stories. Like, you want to cry. Read about Mike Webster, the center for the Steelers. His last couple of years, he couldn't even leave his apartment. His daughter would go to see him. He would be like curled up in the corner crying for no reason. It's heartbreaking.
Seau had it like that. Or somebody from the Bills have had it that bad. Like, and those are just the big names. We're not hearing about the Joe Schmoes that played offensive lineman for 4 or 5 years. You never heard.
Yeah,
of.
And think about the ones that are like guys that are not good enough to be stars in the NFL, that are practice squad guys. What do you think happens to them? And they're not even making big money. They're making, they're making like $10,000 a week or something, and they're just getting their heads banged all day. It's really terrible. That's
why I feel like the better athletes are leaving football. Like, first of all, I think Pee Wee football has been struggling since that, and secondly, I feel like the really good athletes are like, well, I could go play basketball or baseball, or I can get my brains knocked out playing football as a kid. And then they have parents that are looking at all this stuff, and I just think it's changing the sport itself. Like, I don't want to see football get to the point where it's tag, because that's what I've been making that joke now for about 10 years. But I'm telling you, we get closer and closer to tag football or flag football every year. They're going to get to a point where, I guess there's nothing you can do. They're going to get to a point where boxing, any sport that you get hit in the head like that, I mean, what can you do? You can't stop people from doing it, right? You can't outlaw, hopefully, knock on wood, those sports.
You could go back in time. You could go back in time and put the leather helmets back on. And I think that would make, I know Brother Ray's shaking his head, but if you take away the instrument where you feel like you're protected,
they wouldn't leave their heads. I agree.
They wouldn't leave it. Yeah. So I feel like you'd get a little bit more cautious.
I think you need to meet it halfway there, Matt. Like, I think they should not wear the leather helmets, but they should wear like just the most basic of caps. so that they're not
tell
meant
you.
to hit. You know what I mean?
One of the shittiest things that I've ever seen in football, and I'm a huge Le'Veon Bell fan. He was knocked stupid unconscious right around the goal line. He looked dead. And seeing a player on the field motionless, you just instantly start because it's not about who wins or who loses. It's about who goes home to their family. And like Kevin was saying, not having your family see you crawl up in the corner crying, like that's scary shit. But when I seen Le'Veon Bell laying lifeless on the ground, I was like, I love football, but I don't love that.
No. Exactly. Well, like Luke Kuechly, when he got his concussion, he was getting I think they had him on a cart off the field, and like tears were pouring down his face. Like, he didn't know where he was. And, like, that's like a symptom of when you get concussed. Like sometimes you just start crying. But the image of it was just so sad. And like they got to keep studying and figuring out what they can do to prevent it more with different helmet technologies, whether it's simpler ones or what. But yeah, I mean, at least they're finally dedicating the money, because for a while they were just denying the whole thing. Like, I don't know how you can possibly deny it, but they did it for a long time.
Protect your money. Protect your assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. They protect that. They don't want it leaked, because again, the minute it got leaked, the effect trickled down all the way down to Pee Wee football.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw little kids no longer playing football.
Yep.
That's bad. That's bad for sport,
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, look.
I'm gonna ask Matt. What did you think of the Giants-Chargers game? Chargers won 37-21. That's now 5 straight over the Giants in a row for the Chargers.
I was on the other side. I thought the Giants would keep the game close. I thought they would put up some points against Chargers defense. Chargers are, hit or miss. They've been hot. They've been cold. They were hot this week. I think they're going to be hot tonight. I think Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback, but at the same time, I think they just took advantage of a team that was kind of in disarray. Mike Glennon, what is he going to do? I think there was just too much hope from me out of him. But I did want to touch on one thing. I got cut off. My mom called me. I wanted to tell you about the Panthers game with the Falcons there. They were 17-14. The ball was at midfield, and Cam had the ball, and I almost talked it into fruition. I said, this is right around the point where Cam does something stupid, throws a pick, because fumble. I'm like, and then he got benched again. But that's, we'll move on from that. Nothing really to say about the Chargers Giants. Giants kind of, disarray.
Let me tell you about the Giants. Let me tell you about the Giants. All right. First of all, Saquon Barkley does not have anywhere near the same burst. Now, the offensive line is pretty putrid, but it's not as bad as Saquon makes it look, because Devontae Booker makes it look better than Saquon does. All right?
Yeah.
So if you lose your burst, you can't be doing this little pitter-patter left to right shit where you hop and then you go forward, because you've lost a little of your burst. All right? Secondly, Mike Glennon is horrendous. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. Like, what chance do you have with him, right? None. Third, the offensive line is really bad. Fourth, the Giants want to throw the ball downfield now, but they do not have enough time, because of the line, to get the receivers open or complete their routes downfield. So they keep trying, but it doesn't work. It's like the dumbest thing in the world. They keep trying to throw it deep, but they never get enough time. Mike Glennon gets it off and he gets destroyed. You know what I mean? They make Riley Dixon the punt to throw a goddamn pass. Like, Joe, you didn't go for it on how many 4th and 1s this year, but you make Riley Dixon throw a pass that was literally 20 feet above his receiver, because he's a punter, Joe, a punter. As it stands right now, the New York Giants hold the number 5 and 6 pick in a row. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Get rid of Saquon Barkley. Get rid of Gettleman. I would get rid of Joe Judge, unless you want to keep him for another year because you have some weird reason. Get rid of all the other Shepherds. Just cut the fat on everybody that you possibly can. Daniel Jones, I say get rid of him. And here's why I'm saying get rid of him now. Because all we're going to do as a fan base is talk shit about Daniel Jones. And is he not? Can he not? Will he, won't? I don't give a shit anymore. I just want to
hug you. I just want to give you a hug.
Can we please get Russell Wilson? We'll trade those picks. Give us Russell Wilson. We'll sign a right tackle in free agency, another guard. Guess what? We're up and running. If you give the Giants one or two more offensive linemen and Russell Wilson, see you in the motherfucking playoffs.
That's right.
I'm saying it right now. See you in the motherfucking playoffs. All right. I'm okay with that.
Shaking his head.
I hope everybody's okay. I apologize for that. It's just been brewing. I haven't had a chance to let that one out. All right. So let me see where I'm at. Kev, I'm going to go to the next game to you if I can ever get to the next game because I'm stuck on the Giants game. Let's see what I got lined up here. Hold on. Sorry. Let's see. All right. Kev, I got for you the Lions and the Broncos.
Oh,
now,
thanks, King.
Broncos won 38-10. Lions couldn't keep this one close. Ray had this one right. I did not. What did you think?
I think I had the Lions. I think they were like 11-point underdogs, something like that. So I figured they'd keep
11. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured they'd keep it close. But and it was only 17-10 at the half. It was the third quarter. Detroit fell apart in the third quarter, gave up 14, gave up another 7 in the fourth, and they were blanked in the second half. So it was kind of a weird game. But like, when they were down 17-10 going into the half, I was like, yeah, maybe they have a shot. But Detroit, at least they're going to try hard. Denver is definitely the more talented team, but like you never know when you're going to get another 38-point game out of the Broncos. I mean, Bridgewater only threw for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, but they pretty good rushing attack. Melvin Gordon was back, 111 yards. Javonte Williams, 73 yards, total of 3 touchdowns on the ground. So Broncos just gashed them. Detroit just doesn't have the talent, but you got to give them credit because they do try hard. Like they're not doing what Jacksonville was doing.
Dan Campbell is absolutely awful.
Oh, he is. He's terrible. Look, the fact that he's still calling the plays blows my mind. I thought he would have done it for a week and just given the play calling back to Anthony Lynn. He hasn't done that. I don't understand it. Maybe he's just going to be their caretaker guy to keep them motivated for another season while they accumulate actual talent and they find a real coach. But, yeah, I agree. He's awful.
I've never seen a coach react like a player.
Yeah.
More than Dan Campbell. Like when something bad happens as a coach, you're supposed to be stoic and stand there, maybe look at your paperwork or something like that. Maybe yell once. Dan Campbell's stomping around like he's like a player. Like compose yourself, Dan. You're a coach.
Yep.
And he's been that goes up there with him and Matt Patricia. Those two guys together are the worst. What? Right?
Positive thing though with Denver that I really like, even if they don't win anything this year, with that defense, with the receivers they have, both lines that they have, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Russell Wilsons of the world, they're paying attention. That is going to be a really good destination for one of those guys next year.
And that might save Vic Fangio. That might give Vic Fangio another 2-3 years of coaching life. If Rodgers goes there or Wilson goes there, Fangio will coach for another 5 years.
We're talking Broncos, so let's discuss the passing of the wide receiver great for Broncos. And I'm blanking on his name right now because I'm not looking at Marius Thomas. Yeah, the physical receiver. He was a beast.
DT.
What was he? 33?
Yeah.
Do we know at all what happened?
He got the shot.
That's what you say.
They said it wasn't like drugs or alcohol or anything like that. They said it was some kind of medical condition. Like it wasn't supposed to be anything unseemly or nefarious. It was just he somehow died in his sleep or something.
He died in the shower from seizures.
Yeah, his shower. I'm sorry, not his sleep, the shower. Yeah.
He just recently started having seizures.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but it wasn't like drug related or anything like that.
Oh, it was drug related, all right.
Here's the thing. How do we know though, Kev? Because when somebody develops seizures at 33 years old as a pro athlete and then died in the shower, I don't think that just came about naturally. That he just naturally got seizures. I think something was going on that caused a seizure.
Oh, maybe, but when I say drug, I mean illegal stuff. Like it wasn't like a drug overdose or something like that.
They didn't do an autopsy, did they?
No, well, I think they did. They usually leak toxicology reports. Like who was it? It wasn't Vincent Jackson. It was some other NFL player they found in a hotel room, like outside of Jacksonville or something. And that one they knew was drug related, but they haven't said it for this one yet.
I have a hard time ruling anything out. I think that's my problem. You never know. They're never going to tell you. Why should they? You know what I mean? They keep it within themselves. You'll never really know. They always say, like, oh, he took a seizure in the shower. And they leave it at that. It's like, oh, okay. Which is good enough for us, but it doesn't quite add up. I don't get the full answer. Whatever. Let's go to Ray. Ray, 49ers went to the Bengals. The 49ers won 26-23.
Love it.
Game-winning 12-yard receiving TD in overtime. So the Bengals came down and scored a field goal, and then the 49ers came down and they said, screw that, and threw a touchdown. Right?
Yeah, amazing. This game, I thought I was toast because I had the 49ers in this, and I thought I was going to lose, especially with overtime. You're always worried. The same thing with the Tampa game. I was worried about that as too. But you know what? Frisco, going to give them credit. They fought hard. The Bengals have problems. To lose a game like that at home when so much is on the line. I think Burrow has too much reign in that offense right now. He needs to be reeled in, and their defense has completely come apart. They get pressure, but they can't stop teams from scoring, and at the most inopportune times. But give the 49ers credit. I got to give Shanahan credit. He stuck with it. I'm a big critic of his, but they stuck with it. Some incredible performances. Give Jimmy G credit. The past couple of games, he's been playing really, really well.
Yeah, and that guy cannot get any love anywhere. All people do is point out how terrible he is. It's like, look, he's leading them to wins. He's keeping Lance on the bench. They're winning games, and all people do is complain about him. I mean, he threw the ball 41 times. They only ran 20. They only ran like 22 rushing attempts. And Shanahan is supposed to be all about running the ball and all these things. He put the ball in Jimmy G's hands, and Jimmy G he delivered the win. And brother, like you said, the Bengals are on a 2-game losing streak. I think they peaked. They had their little peak. They were awesome, and now they're falling apart again.
You know what?
Jimmy G's a winner. I had a buddy hit me up. He knew I had San Fran in a parlay, and he's like, "Oh, since you just kicked the field goal," I said, "Jimmy's gonna go down, put it in the end zone." He did, and for him to do that, put it on him, and do it. He's opportunistic, and he got it done. It's time to start giving Jimmy G some love. He does win games. He is a winner. And like Kevin said, he's keeping Trey Lance on the bench, whether or not Trey Lance is serviceable or not. Jimmy G is. He's consistent, and he didn't really have all of his tools like banged up Debo. Debo kind of ran, but there's something up with Debo. They should be receiving. He should be receiving more. There's a problem there with Debo. They don't want him possibly like overexerting his groin, but he did it.
Overexerting his groin.
I just got a question on why they have him running the ball and not running routes. No,
no, you're probably right on one. I think there's something to that. But just my last comment on this: that drive in overtime, they scored a touchdown. I think it was a 7-play drive, 6 passes, 1 rush. So anyone wants to say Jimmy G is a problem, not a solution, point them to that. If Shanahan's putting the ball in his hands 6 times to throw like that, give the guy a break.
So, Matt, staying with you in overtime games, the Bills traveled to Tampa
Oof.
and lost in overtime 33-27, dropping the Bills to 7-6, a surprising 7-6, and the Bucs to 10-3. What did you think of the game, Matt?
I think that McDermott is a scared coach. They had the ball down there, and they could have went ahead and put Tom in a worse predicament before OT started. And they threw some really stupid pass patterns in the end zone where they could have really probably approached it differently, and they settled for the field goal because they were playing it for overtime. You go for the throat right there. You find a way to put that ball in the end zone. They did such a great job at coming back in the game. Josh Allen played his ass off. They don't run the ball, and that's coaching as well. you got to figure out a way to be, listen, a team sets out to make you one-dimensional anyway, but when you're one-dimensional, you're not going to win too many football games, and that's why they're almost 500. They beat the Chiefs. They were failing themselves. They were the talk of the season. They were supposed to already be in the AFC Championship game. After they beat the Chiefs, their record is horrendous. And I think the talk of that game is Sean McDermott down at the goal line right before OT started and how they just settled for a field goal, because you can't give Tom Brady another chance. You just can't.
I agree with that. You should never put the ball in Tom's hands if you can help it. Kev?
I don't know if you guys looked at the box score. It's absolute insanity. The Bills running backs rushed the ball 7 times the whole game. Josh Allen threw 54 passes and ran the ball 12 times. So that means 66 of their 73 offensive plays were Josh Allen. That's like NFL blitz. That's like, Tecmo Bowl stuff. And you can't keep that up. There's no way. If he's running the ball 12 times and he's taking 12 hits a game, eventually some linebacker or some strong safety is going to tee him up or take his knee out or something, and the Bills are going to be done for a year. And
he's got a busted foot.
Yeah.
Imagine losing Josh Allen at the end of this year, and you don't have a prayer. See you later.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't understand McDermott. He has to solve this problem, and he's not only not solving it, he's leaning more into the things that are more into the weakness. It's really, really strange to watch.
Yeah. I think the Bills' tailspin is something worthy of long discussion. Ray, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, and their defense, by the way, was one of the best defenses in the league. And they are getting gashed, shredded, trampled, absolutely trampled. I don't care who's in the game. Fournette had his way. Anyone that was in the game basically had their way running the ball, and they can't stop the pass either. So he's a defensive coordinator. He's a defensive coach. If he can't solve this, who's going to solve it for this team right now? They have too many issues right now. And I don't know why Singletary doesn't get the ball more. I think he's averaging like 5 yards a rush. Yeah. Why give the kid the ball? You got Matt Breida in there. You got the other running Moss in there. Give it to Singletary. Give him a shot. Give him 15 carries.
Singletary had 4 carries for 52 yards, and he only had 4 carries. Like what? It's mind blowing, Ray. I don't get it. And even the crazy stuff. Do you remember the Cowboys game where Dak didn't start, and I forgot who their backup they started, but they were running that weird alignment with 2 linemen in the backfield. It was like a reverse wishbone or something. Just to have 2 more guys going through the hole to blast people out of the way for Zeke. Why don't the Bills try something like that, or what the Patriots did? 6 offensive linemen, something to break that running game open, because it's completely, as M1 started all this with, completely one-dimensional.
All right, 2 games left, and we can get to the game for tonight, and then we can sign off. Really quick, though, Brother Ray, running back who averaged 5.38 yards per carry for his career. Can you name him?
Jim Brown.
Nope.
Dale Sayers.
Nope.
Sweetness.
More current. Nope.
No.
Tell me if you give.
Was it Kansas City?
Yes, it was.
What the hell's the guy's name?
Christian Okoye?
No, it's not. It's not Barry Ward.
Speed. Think speed. Pure speed. One of the fastest running backs ever.
Jamal Charles, baby.
There it is. Yeah. Jamal Charles averaged 5.38 yards a carry. He's a beast. All right.
Unbelievable.
I had to give him a shout out. All right, Matt. Bears went to Green Bay. The Bears lost 30-45. Any thoughts on that at all?
Aaron Rodgers, man. They were down in this game. Bears looked good. They scored against a very good defense. If we want to really touch on this game, I got to be honest with you. Fields looked good. The Bears looked good against a good defense, but Aaron Rodgers just turned it on, and 4 touchdowns. It's so crazy because we there's a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers, and he is unbelievable. Great weapon. 1 NFC championship win, 1 Super Bowl win. What is wrong with him? They got it clicking, but come playoff time, It's just not going to happen. Give credit where credit's due. He owns the Bears, but there's just something up. I can't wait to see him in another team because you know it's going to happen. Hopefully it happens this year, and this is where they part ways. But if we're going to talk about this game, Aaron Rodgers did what he normally does, and that's on the Bears.
So, Kev, Justin Fields looked good, but did he look good enough to lose a first, second, and third round pick, or at least?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, he did look good. He looked. I guess you got to say yes because they got to commit to somebody, and and Green Bay is a good defense. But something else I want to mention first, and this is someone who doesn't look good and who needs to go as soon as possible. Coming out of the half, this is when I knew it was going over for the Bears. I bet heavy Green Bay second half. I bet the under. I bet the Bears under for the second half. Coming out of the halftime, the sideline reporter grabs or either interviews Matt Nagy, and she's like, what do you think of the first half, coach? And what are we going to do in the second half? They're like, oh, a lot of fun. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot because you cannot keep up with Green Bay. No one can keep up with Green Bay except the Bucs and maybe a couple of other teams. You got lucky in the first half, and if you don't tighten everything down, they're going to blow you out, which is exactly what happened. That's when I bet everything on. Like, you're an idiot.
Kev, my thoughts exactly, but my thought was a little bit differently. When she interviewed him and he said that, I thought to myself, did they get the wrong guy? Did she just walk up to some guy who's like the equipment manager and be like, what do you think? Because it looked like he never answered that question before in his life. And to be like, oh, we're having a great time. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah.
Again.
That's why he's the next one fired.
Pull yourself back and be a little more professional, for Christ's sake. Jesus. That's how. You know what, though? Love the fact that they keep losing. That pick looks better and better and better every goddamn week. Ray, last game was the Monday night game. Rams beat the Cardinals 30-23. What do you think, Ray?
I think this time of year, we get stuck week to week and we look at, all right, what's their record? Well, they haven't been that good. The Rams haven't been that good. But then I forgot, Ray, you're going against the Rams. When this season started, I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. And there was a reason why I picked the Rams. And you know what? In that game, they showed us why. Stafford looked like the player that we had seen earlier in the year and that we know. That's why they went out and got him, because very few guys can make the throws that this guy can do. His arm talent is up there with anybody in the league, second to none. And he did it. And him and Cooper Kupp, they have a connection that is unreal right now. And even OBJ looked good. We know he's been banged up and he's had his issues, but he looked good. Sony Michel did not miss a beat in that offensive line. It's just so solid, and their defense played well. Arizona, that coach needs to go. He needs to go. I am officially calling for his head.
I've been saying that the whole season. Yeah, he's terrible.
Needs to go. Just awful clock management. I mean, at the end of that game, are you kidding me? And there was times there where they didn't kick the field goal and they went for it. The guy's kicking 53-yard field goals. Put him on the field.
Yeah, well, he's lucky he knows Kyler Murray. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. I got to cut you short, Kev, because we get basketball on time. We got one game tonight.
Yep.
You know the spreads. You can help me here. Chiefs at the Chargers. The
354
to the Chargers. Chargers are favored. Are getting +3.
Yep.
And the over/under is 54. So, Ray, Chiefs -3 at the Chargers, over/under 54. What do you like?
Jump on the Chiefs -3 and the over. Kansas City doesn't miss a beat. That defense is too good right now. There's no home field advantage in LA, guys. This isn't a home field advantage.
Nope, not yet. Yeah, definitely not yet, at least for them. Kev, what do you like?
Yeah, I like Chiefs. I like the under. I don't think there's going to be a ton of scoring. I think both teams are going to kind of run the play clock down. The only thing that worries me is Chris Jones is out for the Chiefs, so they're going to have to depend more on Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram. And I think they're missing some guy in the defensive backfield also, so I'm a little worried about that. But LA, the Chargers are missing Rashawn Slater, left tackle, so they're in trouble on the offensive line. And I think Eckler is either going to be extremely limited or not play. So I think all that stuff kind of evens itself out. I think the Chiefs, take this one, and I think 3 is. I think they take it by 3. He is.
Matt?
I am seeing this game like I saw the Minnesota-Pittsburgh game, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is the Chargers in the over. The over is going to hit. It's 54 points. They're urging you to take the under. Chargers are going to win this game. One other thing I wanted to say about DFS, Gabriel Davis, if you can grab him, pick him up, he's probably available in your league. There's something up with Stephon Diggs. He's injured, and he's been coming on lately, Gabriel Davis. But I'm telling you right now, take the Chargers and the over. Guarantee it. Till
All right.
2000.
I'm going to say that Matt is looking too much into it. I say take the Chiefs -3 while you still can. And
This spread should be 3.5, 4, 4.5.
I would go over. I would go over on the 54, 52, whatever.
They're trying to get you to take the Chiefs. It looks too easy. It's not. It's not that easy.
Well, they
Chargers
just
win
did 3 out of 4 of us to go with them, so they're doing a good job.
That's right. And I'm telling you right now, that's what the public is going to do. The majority of people are going to do. Chiefs lose tonight.
Any last words before we go wrap it up and go to fantasy basketball? Raymond.
There's talk that the Browns Vegas game could potentially be postponed. There's talk about it in the Players Union. And then they also talked about delaying games for 1 week. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But that's being discussed right now by the Players Union, and they're pushing for it.
Kev, any last words? Thanks, Ray, voice of doom.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not going to have a chance to talk to Saturday games. If the Vegas game plays, take Vegas. At night, take the Patriots. And the only thing I wanted to say about the Green Bay game that I couldn't say is Mercedes Lewis returned from the dead. Caught 4 passes. King, I know you were always a big fan of Mercedes Lewis, so he's back from the dead. And that's leave it at that. But
Before we go, the biggest Patriots fan right here is letting you know, because we're not going to be able to touch on it. We probably should have, because it's a Saturday game. We're not going to see it till Sunday morning. Patriots are not going to win that game. They are going to lose.
Really? All right. We'll go head-to-head on that one.
There's actually 2 Saturday games, Raiders and Browns, Pats and Colts.
Yeah. So I said Vegas and New England.
If you had to be really quick with this, just so in case people want to get the bet in, I would say go with the Browns and go with the Patriots.
Case Keenum.
Going away.
No, Case Keenum just came down with COVID. But I do think he'll play. I think that the Browns win also.
I like the Colts, too. I do like the Colts.
All right. What I want to say is that here's where I hope that everybody out there stays happy, healthy, and safe. Because if you were right now to come down with that virus, there's like a 10 to 21 day lockout, which even just the 10 days would ruin Christmas. So I don't want to see anybody come down and get sick, have to be separated from their loved ones for Christmas. I wish everybody to stay happy, healthy, and safe. We're now going to get off. We'll be right back with fantasy basketball hosted by my friend Genius Kev. Want to thank everybody for sticking with us. We will see you on Sunday morning at 11 a.m., 11:05. Thank you guys for sticking with us.